closer together. So anyways, back to you thinking of that specific couple or relationship that you find yourself comparing your relationship to, and then slipping into that insecurity and self-doubt around your relationship. I want to tell you a few things, okay? You do not know what the hell is going on in anybody else's life, especially if you only know them through Instagram or through social media. You don't know, you guys. I coach people all the time. And if you looked at their social media, you would think they had the best relationship, so happy, so full, and they don't. Now, that's not to say that we want other people to suffer in their relationships so we get to feel better about ours. No, not at all. But I say this to help you feel normal, to help you feel like, I promise you, everybody has their shit. And as soon as you recognize that and really notice when you're slipping into that comparison, step into compassion rather, and for yourself and your relationship, and notice the thoughts that came up. If the thoughts that came up that you're slipping into comparison about, that's probably the area you need to work on, not your partner. First and foremost, if it came up for you, it's the area you need to work on within yourself first, before you even attempt to address it with your partner. Because if you're gonna come at it with blame and accusations, like, why didn't you get me flowers on Valentine's Day? Everybody else did. Why didn't you do this for me? Why can't you just be more like him? How do you think that's gonna feel? They're probably gonna get defensive. Their feelings probably will be hurt. They're probably it's gonna create a distance. They may feel like they're not for being, fulfilling you in the relationship, which, by the way, is not their job to do. So you need to get curious when you slip into comparing yourself to other people. What's coming up for you? Do you begin to pick you and your partner apart from that comparison? And if you are, remember this. This is something I just told one of my clients, and I tell all my clients this, and I tell myself this all the time because I need the reminder very often. Every time you pick your partner apart, you miss out on an opportunity to love and appreciate what they are doing for you. That is super, super valuable advice. And I tell myself this shit all the time because I know that I can easily slip into the old mentality that I had of, why isn't our relationship like this? Why isn't it like theirs? Why can't it be what I always dreamed of? And my focus was all on everything I thought it should be by comparing, and not just comparing to real life people, right? Real life people, we compare it to movies. We compare it to stories too. So be really careful how much you have this expectation of a romantic comedy or a romance movie, because you get to shape your own, okay? And I definitely have moments that I feel could go right into a romantic comedy, and I'm so blessed and grateful that I have that now, but I didn't used to. But I only didn't used to because of the amount of comparison I did, because of the amount of time I blamed him for how I was feeling, that I slipped into a victim mindset within my relationship. I could have had all those moments then, like I do now. And you can too, but you have to get aware. You have to notice when you're slipping into comparison and when you're believing the story you're telling. So many of my clients, they come to me and they tell me what's going on in their relationship as though it is fact. It is not debatable. And in their mind, I see them telling me, I'm straight-faced, I'm holding space. And I know they think they're convincing me. Well, of course, Emily's going to get this. She's going to know exactly what I mean because clearly I'm right. And then I throw it at him why are you trying to convince me of this story about your partner that makes you feel unloved, unappreciated, like shit? Why would you want me to agree with you on that? So you feel justified in that moment so you can feel distant and hate and distaste and resentment and annoyance towards your partner even more than you already are? No, that is not going to help you. And that also does not mean, you guys, that you don't learn to communicate what you want and what you don't want in your relationship, but it is not their job to obey you. It is not your partner's job to obey everything you ask of them. And if you're asking them from a place of you just got off Instagram and you're comparing yourself to everybody else and you're feeling like shit, and then you go in there and accuse him of not doing something for you, or you say, you need to do more of this. This is how a relationship should be, or whatever. Like, notice how you're communicating and asking and making requests of your partner. Delivery, communication really, really matters. I have totally changed the way that I express my wants and desires to my husband. And it has made a huge difference. And sometimes I slip back into reacting to my emotion, reacting to the insecurity from comparing myself to somebody else. I do that, I'm human, but I see it so much quicker. I see what I'm doing to myself. And I always ask myself these questions. So I'm going to end it with this. This is something I recently walked one of my clients through. The conversation I have with myself when I'm lost in comparing myself to other people's relationships, or if I'm comparing myself to my husband, right? Like, this is another thing, like thinking like, well, he does this better than me, or he thinks he's smarter than me, or la 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 la, right? That's comparison too within your own relationship, as though it's a competition. But whenever I notice, right, the awareness is the first step. You have to notice when you're thinking thoughts that are making you feel like shit in your relationship, or bad about yourself, or distant from that person you love and that you want to improve the relationship. So the very first thing is I have to catch the thought. And that's the hardest part for many people, because they think they're just stating facts. Like, I'm a woman and my name is Emily. Like, it's just so factual. You have to notice when you're telling the story. So for example, if I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, God, Max is so inconsiderate. I asked him that so many times and he still didn't do it. He doesn't even listen to me. He's such a jerk. Why does he do that? And then it's like, boom, my awareness comes in. And it comes in and it says, Emily, it's okay if that feels true right now. Feels true. Not that it is true. It's okay if that feels true right now. But do you want to believe that Max doesn't care? And I soften and I say no, but I still feel annoyed. It's like, okay, it's okay you feel annoyed, but do you want to believe that you married an inconsiderate person? And I say no, I don't want to believe that, but God, you should, right? And then my brain's like arguing with me. It wants me to go down that negative thought spiral. It's okay. I allow for my brain to be the human brain that it is, but I see it. I see the negative story I'm creating about my husband. And even if it feels true in that moment, I give myself space to feel what I'm feeling. And I always ask myself, what do I want to believe? Well, I want to believe that he loves me and that he's considerate and that he just wasn't, thinking about that in that moment. And he wasn't doing it to intentionally hurt me. And I start feeling a calm. And I start connecting back to, what do I want in my relationship? Do I want to make these little things so big and define him as this inconsiderate jerk? Or do I want to learn to believe and know that he's not inconsiderate and that he just doesn't think the same things I'm thinking all the time? And that's okay, because he's a different human being. Do I want to make it mean that all these negative beliefs about him? No. And I soften, but I have to check in with myself and ask myself, what do I want to believe about him? Do I believe he's a good man? Do I believe that he loves me? And those are easy for me to say yes, absolutely to. Now, there were times when I would question it. And so I had to continually do this work. So anyways, I know that somebody said, this is so useful and helpful. Keep up your great work. Love learning from you. Thank you, Tara. Love it. I hope it's helpful. And I mean it. You guys, like, oh God, to do the work on your relationship. I mean, I want to be with my husband for the rest of my life. And that's a long time. And I want to grow with him, and I want to love him, and I want to enjoy him, and I want to enjoy us. And so I had to release getting lost in comparison to other couples. I had to release, blaming him. This work works. This work works. This work works so much. If you're willing to do it, if you're willing to dive in and do the work on your relationships, take ownership for how you're feeling, step into compassion, understanding, release all the comparison bullshit that you're doing. and step into curiosity about like just how you're feeling and what you want, and learn how to communicate that in a healthy, loving way, everything will change. So I'm doing all these relationship trainings because I love talking about it. Every single one of my clients, whether they come to me on another issue, we always get into relationships. And this is something that I go very deeply into in my group coaching program, the Soulfully Abundant group coaching program. So if you want to dive into your relationship and have a community of women there to support you, you need to go check out the link in my bio. There's a lot of information about the program there. The next round starts March 15th. So if you want to start improving your relationships with yourself, but especially with your partner, then I know that this coaching and this work and my program would 100% help you. And I see some of my clients watching now, and I know they can attest to that. So anyways, yeah. How to not get lost in comparison. I hope you guys like this. Please message me. Let me know if you have any questions about relationships and really anything. I'm here to have the conversation and talk. So happy Tuesday. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.